Gary, Mo Isa's up for League Two Player of the Season. How much of a tribute is that to everything that he's done this season?
Well, of course, that's exactly what it is, what he's done this season. And he's come from sort of very low pastures, if you like. He hasn't come in as a ready-made professional footballer. But he plied his trade at Greenwich and did very well there. Of course, it was good that we was able to spot his potential, go with a gut feeling and bring him in. And then he's just been fantastic since the day that he arrived. And having said that, the trial that he had was a little bit iffy, and some of the lads were thinking, "Gaff, are you sure this lad's going to be the one that gets 20-odd goals?" And I said, "No, but I've got a feeling for him, because he had good movement and he just looked like he wanted to learn, and that's been the beauty of it. He's picked up things very quickly with a smile on his face, and to score 20-odd goals, because we don't know how many still, he's got 20 already, 22 in all competitions. It was a magnificent achievement from where he's come from, as it's his first season in any sort of professional league. So really, really pleased for him, and as attributes or the attribution, whatever, to try and use your word, it goes down to him for getting his nut down and actually producing it. Producing what we thought he could produce in time, but he did it pretty quickly.
And is it just as pleasing that George Lloyd's up for Apprentice of the Year?
Yeah, that's fantastic as well. And they're two young lads with a big future. And George has done well, because he's a real pro off the pitch as well. You don't get any problems from him. Maybe when you don't know what he's thinking when you've picked a team and he's not in it yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But he's desperate for his little go at it. We're getting a start, and I'm sure he'll get that before the end of the season. So he's somebody has to say how good somebody's been, but he's not just a good lad off the pitch. He's a very good player on it, and obviously it's we'll let people see him before the season's out.
Obviously, you didn't get what you'd wanted over Easter, but you've also said as well you want players who've got the character next season to challenge higher up the division. Is the reaction you'll get on Saturday going to be one of those games where you get big clues about those players?
I'm getting clues about the players all the time, because we are saying that what have you got if we were in a playoff situation right now? What extra have you got? I thought we worked very hard at Exeter, because they're another side that's got that experience of being in and around the playoffs for a few years now, and they've built and built. So it was a good test for us, and they decided to go with the two big lads up front. One of them hadn't played for a little while, but it was bringing in a bit of experience, and they played probably different to how they sometimes normally play. They went very long. I did say that before the game, that they'll probably go a little bit longer, and that's what they did. And we had to be man enough to withstand it and get up the other end. The stats show the game was pretty even, 50% each possession, same amount of chances. I think we hit the post once, they hit the crossbar once, we hit the crossbar once. So it was like two woodworks each. And the game could have gone either way. Now we've got to be that team that shows that little bit extra. If we was in a playoff situation where you go to the final or you're out, I've got to see the people that can cope and produce and affect the game at that sort of pressure.
And I suppose in a way you'd be looking for players who are showing it not just mentally but also physically, because your season could be extended by 3 games in that scenario.
Yeah, we have the belts like everybody else, and we see the people that can do more running, play 40 odd games a season and still get their 12 kilometres sort of thing of running, but also we do a lot of stats on them, how many passes they've made, completed passes they've given away, because it's no use working hard, getting on the ball and then giving the ball away. So, we're getting Tim Bell obviously puts all our stats together, and it's brilliant to see. Obviously, you see what you see with your eye on the day, and that's when you can tell whether people are right up for it or not. But what you can tell from the stats is how effective they've actually been in their stats and their passing and their shots, or the strikers had shots or hasn't had shots, or how many tackles they've made, how many headers they've won, all that sort of stuff. And it gives me a really good picture for people that are going to we can take into next season.
What have you made of Morecambe's form of late? Obviously, they're not out of it, but they've drawn plenty recently.
Yeah, they're I spoke to Tim and Russ today, and this morning we were discussing why is this team, down near the bottom and still looking over their shoulder, sort of thing. And the last few weeks they've had some half decent results actually. They've only lost to some of the big teams, sort of thing, and they've all been very close. So yeah, we know we've got a game on our hands, and I'm sure Jim Bentley is a typical Scouser where he's not going to give up to the last day. Well, we got to be the same, and he's got a team that want to keep going, and that's what they're showing. They certainly haven't given up on anything, and so it'll be a competitive game again.
How's Cole Winchester's hamstring?
I spoke to Gav this morning, and we're just going to give it a couple of days that we got, and then we'll reassess it. But he's it's not a hamstring; it's like a nerval type hamstring. So it's not torn, but it's a nervy one that he's had for a little while, and he might need to rest it for the next 2 days.
Everyone else okay?
Dawes took a little knock, and so we'll have to. He's another one that we just got to wait and see how he recovers.